watching home of News 4. From your hometown news leader, this is News 4 at 4.
Good afternoon, I'm Maggie DeRosiers. Thanks for joining us for First News at 4. This hour, a critical warning from Alabama's top doctor. He says we're on track to surpass our current record of COVID cases. Today, there are more than 4,000 cases across the state. And Dr. Scott Harris says that number is growing at an alarming rate.
We want to remind people that with Delta virus, we are seeing increased rates of transmission that we have not experienced before. People who are infected with the Delta variant tend to spread this disease to at least 3 or 4 other people, maybe by some measurements, maybe 4 or 5 other people. That's more than twice as infectious as the original variant that we were seeing, and that's a real concern for us.
Locally, Southeast Health is back up to 99 patients today. That's up from 97 yesterday. Deaths have not changed since yesterday. They remain at 316. For the third day in a row, every Alabama county remains in the red, which means there is a high risk for community transmission of COVID-19. Hospitalizations are now at 2,441 cases around the state. That's within 600 patients of Alabama's record back in January. There are only a few hospital beds left in the state, about 5% to be exact, and Dothan, Montgomery, and Mobile all reporting no available beds at this time. Healthcare workers are frustrated in Limestone County, Alabama. Cases are going up, people are coming into the hospital, and just under 35% of people in that county are fully vaccinated. Madison Carpino spoke to one veteran nurse who shared her concerns. Limestone County, Alabama has seen more than 500 new cases and 6 new COVID deaths since August 1st, according to State Health Department data. Now, Dr. Don Williamson says studies show that the Delta variant does cause more severe illness compared to the original COVID strain. He says right now there are more than 650 COVID patients in ICUs, but a majority of the patients from the surge are getting better after time. Williamson says there are more recoveries than deaths, and that is to be expected. Deaths are still being reported at a rapid rate. The United States Department of Education has approved Alabama's plan for the use of American Rescue Plan funds. $2 billion is headed to the state in order to support K-12 schools and students. Top priorities for Alabama include accelerated learning opportunities as well as mental and emotional needs for students most impacted by the pandemic. The state's local education agency must now submit a plan for using the funds by August 23rd. Developing this afternoon, Fred has weakened to a tropical depression, but it's still likely to drench Florida over the next few days. The system has hammered the Dominican Republic with sustained winds of 40 miles an hour and several inches of rain. Although the National Hurricane Service discontinued warnings for Puerto Rico and the U.S. Virgin Islands, Fred is expected to strengthen as it heads towards Florida, possibly making landfall there this weekend. It is still too early to tell if or when that will happen or if that storm will develop into a hurricane. For the latest on the tropics as well as our local forecast, let's join meteorologist Zach Hatcher. He joins us now with our first look at the forecast. Good afternoon, Zach. How's it looking?
Hey, good afternoon, Maggie. Well,
seems like the storm outside might be messing with our sensors, huh?
I think so.
All right, Zach. Well, thanks so much. It was a tragedy that touched people nationwide. A 12-vehicle crash right here in Alabama that claimed 10 lives. Tonight, one of the only survivors is recalling that horrific ordeal. It happened on I-65 in Butler County. 8 of the lives lost were children from the Tallapoosa County Girls Ranch in a van on their way home from the beach. Tonight, for the first time, we're hearing from the driver of that van. Candace Gully sat down with Ashley Bowerman. A lawsuit has now been filed against the 2 trucking companies involved in the crash. Meanwhile, the Girls Ranch is getting financial donations from all over the country. A GoFundMe page has raised over $500,000. Some of that money will be used to purchase new vans with added safety features. Coming up on First News at 4, the tragic death of a young athlete. The lawsuit now filed by her family and their claims of what led to her death. Coming up when we come back. Welcome back. The family of a 16-year-old basketball player who died in Georgia after working out in the extreme heat says their daughter didn't have to die. The parents of Imani Bell spoke out in Clayton County about charges brought against their daughter's coaches. In August of 2019, Bell collapsed and died while taking part in outdoor conditioning drills at the Elite Scholars Academy. The temperature reached as high as 97 degrees with a heat index of 103. A 2019 Georgia Bureau of Investigation autopsy indicated that Bell suffered from hypothermia and a breakdown in muscle tissue from exertion.
I just want everybody to understand that this entire thing happened because a lot of metaphorical balls were dropped. And common sense is not common. And you see that with this case and with others like it. Common sense is just not common. You have coaches who want to win more than take care of these children.
Last month, a grand jury indicted LaRosa Walker-Asacare and Dwight Palmer on charges of second-degree murder, child cruelty in the second degree, involuntary manslaughter, and reckless conduct. This Friday will mark 2 years since Imani Bell's death. Millions of Americans across 34 states are in the grip of extreme heat once again today, as officials urge people to stay cool and safe. Sarah Doloff has that story.
Maggie.
Well, at least Saturday looks like it's shaping up to be pretty nice.
Saturday looks good, yeah.
Looking forward to it, Zach. Thanks so much. The Census Bureau is planning to release population data used to draw congressional and state legislative district lines. That comes more than 4 months later than usual. Some states are already past their deadlines to draw new maps. That means many will have to hold special sessions in the fall instead of handling it in the spring as usual. It's expected to show population growth in the U.S. has been driven entirely by minorities over the past decade. Well, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. It's back to school shopping season, and the National Retail Federation is expecting record spending. But retailers aren't seeing it yet. They blame concerns about the COVID-19 Delta variant and supply chain issues. CNN's Vanessa Yurkovich reports. School supplies this year could be more expensive. Retailers suggest shopping early and buying in bulk if you have more than one child. Pizza Hut is introducing a new plant-based pepperoni pizza. The restaurant chain has teamed up with Beyond Meat, and it's made from ingredients like peas and rice with no GMOs, soy gluten, hormones, antibiotics, or cholesterol. The new pizza is being tested for a limited time in 5 cities: Albany, New York, Columbus and Macon, Georgia, Houston, Texas, and Jacksonville, Florida. Well, I don't think I will be trying that pizza anytime soon. I'm going to stick to my good old pepperoni. How about you?
Yeah, pepperoni, I mean, you can't beat that. That's kind of one of the best. Of course, everyone has their favorites, but, you know, it's good stuff.
I'm too picky to be that healthy.
Same.
Definitely something we're going to have to keep an eye on. Well, tonight, a Lester Holt exclusive, the man who wants to change the way wrongful convictions are handled in the country's biggest city. In his series, Justice for All, Lester speaks with Alvin Bragg, the first black man to be a nominee for District Attorney of Manhattan.
Why do you want to be Manhattan DA?
I'm a lifelong Manhattanite, and I've worked on, justice and fairness issues for all of my career and almost all of my life. So it's a continuation of my work that in many ways started, as a teenager in Harlem. I had a gun pointed at me more than 5 times, 6 times in total, and 3 by the NYPD during unconstitutional stops and 3 by people who were not police officers. And I've been trying to marry justice and safety since then, and this is, I think, the most impactful way to do that.
On Nightly News, Lester finds out the steps that Alvin Bragg wants to take for change. Well, thank you for joining us for WRGX First News at 4. You're all caught up now, and we'll see you back here at 5:30. Everybody make sure you stay safe and stay dry out there with all the rain that we're getting, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Sounds great. Thanks for joining us.